And I don't know. It's kind of a tough one, and I'm struggling with what we're seeing in the country today because, it's a very vicious cycle. People are conserving and they're trying to get by. They're worried about losing their jobs, so they're spending less. So that means manufacturers are selling less, which means they aren't expanding, which means people in your business, if you're a contractor, you aren't building or helping them build for expansion. Then you lay off people or whatever the case may be because you're not building. Manufacturers lay off people, then people lose their jobs, and then they're not paying taxes, and it just goes round and round and round. And Mr. Allison, and you're as chamber head of a chamber in a city, you're seeing it with small businesses. How much of this is almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy? We continue to be told day after day after day how bad the economy is and how bad it's going to get. So people continue to conserve. People continue to hold back with the idea that, oh, my gosh, I may lose my job next week or in a month, and all that does is again make it even worse and make it even worse. And now we're talking about the government coming up with a stimulus package and providing all of these jobs. Does the government create jobs, or is it small business that creates jobs? I'm trying to figure out what is the best way to do this. Do we continue? You touched on it with green roofs, bonus depreciation for green roofs. Maybe we should expand it for anything, trying to get maybe manufacturers or whoever is in business out there to expand, maybe take that leap of faith that we know this thing's going to turn around eventually. Sooner or later, it's going to turn around. It always does. It cycles. If we give them all of the tax opportunities we possibly can to expand their business, which is obviously going to put contractors into work, to add that new equipment, to update their equipment, to change out all of those trucks and try to get new trucks, whatever it takes, should we be looking at this in a huge, broad spectrum and get those businesses and manufacturers to expand? Again, I'm not so sure that I don't think government creates jobs. I think the private sector creates jobs. That's where job creation is. But I'm curious, and you can address, and I'd like to hear from each one of you. You can address, how much of this is just continually be battered every day on the radio and TV about how bad it is and how much worse it's going to get. And how much of a role does that push us? Continue to push us into the government spending. And the chairwoman pointed out, and rightly so, there's been a lot of money spent, a tremendous amount of money spent, and it just adds to the deficit which was already there. How much farther can we go? When is enough enough? And I'd just be curious from each of you, Mr. Allison, you first.
Congressman Graves, I appreciate the opportunity to address that. I agree government should not be the primary creator of quality jobs. Obviously, you need great people working in government, and we appreciate their dedication. However, the private sector is what makes that possible. And what we have going on right now is a crisis in not only access to capital, not only a problem with our energy sector, a consumer confidence crisis. We can go on and on. But, let's not forget, really what this great country, has been most known for throughout history is its creativity, its innovation capacity, its entrepreneurial spirit, and that still exists. There are people out there today in laboratories all across America that have products they're trying to bring forward. They often have laboratory incubator environments around them. They have assistance from a myriad of different resources. However, just look at public policy. 2.5% of federal R&D dollars are going to SBIR grants. What about the other 97.5%? As I said earlier, small businesses, in particular those with SBIR grants, are far more productive in obtaining patents for new products, bringing those to market, than big business and or universities. And so if I had to pick from the 16 components that I've recommended today, I would say that is probably the first starting point, because if you do, If you raise that to even 5%, that still leaves big business and universities the other 95%. Then I think we have taken a major leap in assisting these entrepreneurs in bringing their products to market. And if they do, and if they are successful, and the percentage of successes is very high, then they're going to be building buildings, they're going to be buying equipment, and they're going to be employing people in quality jobs with health care benefits. Aren't those the goals we're trying to pursue? I just think that too often we've neglected the golden goose here. Nothing against big business. Obviously, we have some great challenges there with the auto industries and aerospace and so forth, and we must maintain those industries. But Main Street cannot be forgotten. We have people, as we speak, that are waiting to see what Congress and the new administration are going to do. And if you want to know what the real vacuum has been, it's leadership. They're waiting for a signal. So I ask you to give them that signal. Thank you.
Mr. Yeoman.
I believe in the, along with large wind, we are very involved in residential photovoltaics, solar electric, and solar hot water, and solar and small wind is another one of our things that we supply. And what you're saying is what I see the government has. What the government has, they have the capacity through the incentives to push that industry. That industry is being taken advantage of. Solar electric is being taken advantage of today. It is being taken advantage of, and through the incentives, both federal and state levels, they are working. The people are they're generating electricity, reducing their cost of electricity is their goal. They are therefore have more money in their pocket. That's their incentive. And their incentive is not only just to do something green, but it also has a return in their pocketbook. Both the solar hot water and the small wind, those aren't incentivized as well. And the problem with that is it's a little bit more out of the residential guy's pocket, a little longer payback. It's harder to jump that hurdle. If you can incentivize those any much, better, then they could, they are viable products. People want their dependents, their electric bills less. They want their heating bills less. And those are your working class people. And what it does, it creates jobs for me as an installer. It creates jobs for our salespeople. It creates jobs for maintenance people, because all of these are electrical generating devices. They're generating at the house level. They will need maintenance in the future. You do have, it isn't just like you're going to install it and go away. You're going to have a maintenance plan. You're going to go back after 2 years. You have to, maintain your systems, make sure they're operating, make sure the grid connection is maintained, make sure that the electric grid is safe. Everybody has the potential to backfeed the electric grid, so it just creates more jobs, and that's working well. And